But for whatever reason, oftentimes between husband and wife, in intimate relationships, we forget the importance of expressions of love. Hey, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Faiyaz Jaffer, based in New York City. I'm here to share some quick insights with regards to all things marriage with Muzz. First 3 tips for a couple in their first year of marriage. Number 1, to communicate face-to-face. There is a huge deficiency these days with people communicating via text message and email and not having very meaningful conversations face-to-face. I sit with people every single day in my work who are going through challenges in their relationship, many a times in their first couple of months or in their first couple of years. And whenever they get into an argument, they resort to continuing their discussion over an email or over a text message, even though they might live together. It might sound ridiculous, but the problem is that we don't like confrontation and we don't like to get into arguments with people naturally. It's something that we push away from ourselves. So firstly and foremostly, communicate well, communicate face-to-face, even in difficulties and hardship, number 1. The second thing is to express gratitude. Again, it might sound kind of cheesy or cliche, but to say thank you, to say I love you, to express appreciation for one another really goes a long way. We as human beings, we love that. We love that from our colleagues, we love that from our coworkers, we love that from someone who we're riding next to on the subway when we give up our chair, our seat. But for whatever reason, oftentimes between husband and wife, in intimate relationships, we forget the importance of expressions of love after the very early period. It becomes more difficult, it becomes more challenging, but just expressing one's emotion in ways that show gratitude, that express love, is super important. Probably the biggest misconception of Islamic relationships or marriage more broadly is that there is a lack of expression of love between husband and wife. We, for whatever reason, assume that every aspect of life of a Muslim is very rigid and very legal. And for whatever reason, that's also the way that religion many times is preached, in community and society, and unfortunately even in our mosques and Islamic centers. But when you open up the literature and you study the Quran or you study the teachings of the Prophet and his family, alayhim salam, it's actually quite the contrary. There's so much emphasis on expressions of love, on a hadith of the Prophet alayhi salam that says, where he advises men, he says, tell your wife consistently that you love her, because that's something that never leaves her heart. We have the famous verse of the Quran, which God states that it is from amongst God's signs that He has created you from husband and wife and created you into pairs. And He gives the reasons why. He says, number 1, that you can find comfort or contentment within one another. And number 2, that you can demonstrate expressions of love. And thirdly, that there's a show of mercy between husband and wife. For whatever reason, going back to, again, our cultures or whatever it might be, we have this very rigid approach to how we engage others, or expressions of love or intimacy or so on and so forth. In reality, that's just not the case. Marriages are meant to be fluid. They're meant to be something beautiful. They're meant to be something positive. They're meant to be opportunities for for husband and wife to express themselves very openly and intimately. But again, we oftentimes have a very different reading of what Islam should be, and that's really, really important for us to break down those barriers.